Thanks for joining us once again for Shoptalk TV. You're tuning into a conversation with Matt Baer, the CEO of Stitch Fix. Matt will be interviewed by Joe Laszlo, head of insights for Shoptalk.
Welcome back to Shoptalk TV. I'm Joe Laszlo, head of content here at Shoptalk. Joining me is Matt Baer, the CEO of Stitch Fix. Matt, thanks so much for joining us on Shoptalk TV.
Yeah, Joe, appreciate it. Very excited to be here. Excited to be back at the show and also on Shoptalk TV.
Yeah, thanks for coming back. So I imagine most of our audience knows Stitch Fix, but for those who don't, an online styling service focused on helping people discover styles that they love and that will fit them and look great on them. Famously from the get-go, Stitch Fix has combined human stylists with AI and other sorts of technology, AI before it was even cool, to kind of create that.
It was cool then too.
That ideal personalized blend of apparel items, fashion items that people will love, a combination of well-known brands and some brands that Stitch Fix has built itself to kind of make sure that you're filling all the needs that a customer might have. Is that like a fair summary?
It's a great summary. I think what's really important too is just to remind people why we founded the business. The business was founded to solve a real problem, and it's that customers deserved a better way to shop for apparel and accessories. And as you noted, we do that by our personal styling service that combines leading AI, data science, and technology, and we couple that with human stylists so that we can really get to know clients on an individual level and service them individually. And since we were founded, the service has just really become even more important too, because apparel shopping is broken, and the Stitch Fix service, it fixes that. There's a recent...
Hence the name.
Yes, that's right. That's right. It works well.
But how do you mean broken though? What are some specific ways that it's not working well for customers today?
Yeah, it's a great question. And recently read a study that said US consumers, only 10% of them really enjoy the in-person shopping for clothing, and not much better, only 14% enjoy online. And for all of us that are shopping for clothing, it's probably not that hard to understand why. Mm-hmm. If you're shopping in person, you're potentially spending a lot of time walking a large store. You're potentially trying on clothes in a dirty or disheveled dressing room, maybe with lighting that's not so kind on you. Then at times you have trouble checking out as well, or finding someone to really provide you the level of service that you'd be looking for. And online isn't that much better. You're browsing endlessly. You're seeing product that doesn't match your style preference. You're seeing product that's so expensive it's above your budget, or so cheap that you question its value or authenticity.
For sure. And you're never sure what size is going to be your size. So you buy 3 and you plan to return 2.
That's exactly right. So you're buying multiple items, those same items in multiple sizes, and then the anxiety really sets in when all of those boxes land on your doorstep, and you're immediately realizing, oh my goodness, I'm going to have to return the majority of this, if not all of it, and that becomes another cumbersome process that's really challenging, and most retailers are now also charging for the returns themselves. Mm-hmm. At Stitch Fix, in advance of your very first transaction, we know your style preferences, we know how much you're likely to spend on an individual item of clothing, and we're also able to nail your fit from that very first transaction. And it's our ability to intimately know each client and serve them individually that helps address all of the pain points with apparel shopping today.
Yep. So I want to come back to that blend of technology and human stylist expertise that is Stitch Fix's secret sauce. AI has been around for a good long time. Generative AI has only been around for a couple of years and still continues to be something a lot of folks in the retail industry are thinking about, finding ways to use. How do you see the balance between what tech can do and what your human stylist can do shifting?
Yeah. For us, it's really important to find that right balance. We have leading technology that's powering nearly every function of our business, and that AI helps ensure that we're creating the best experiences, buying the right product, buying it in the right quantities, pricing it appropriately, and it's really helped us serve our clients well. What's really exciting is how we're now bringing all of that technology that we have in the background to the forefront for clients. So we recently launched something called your style file, which brings to life your actual style profile. So it's not just in the background helping our stylists serve clients, but clients actually can see that themselves. So for example, I'm a modern sport. It means my style is composed of modern, bold, contemporary, and active. And for many of our clients today, they can actually shop their style profile. So if I'm looking for new workwear, I might shop the contemporary element of my style file. If I'm looking for more weekend or athleisure, I might shop the the active component of my style file, but it's really helped our clients understand all the powerful data that we have that helps our stylists serve them in their curated Fix experiences. And now they're actually able to bring that same technology to life in our freestyle experience, which is complementary to our Fix experience and is a really leading personalized direct buy e-commerce experience for our clients to take advantage of.
So the style file helps somebody both to understand themselves a little better and maybe to navigate the kind of more e-com a la carte side of Stitch Fix's offerings. I think that's really cool. Have you heard any like specific feedback from people like I never knew how to articulate who I am before, but you've solved it for me?
We have. The client response has been phenomenal. So clients really enjoy getting this inside information. It really helps them understand why we're selecting what we're selecting, but also helps them in their day-to-day life. So one of the really powerful internal data points that we have on our clients and really US consumers in general is that 90% of them have anxiety getting dressed every day. There's anxiety around what is my style, how to put together an outfit, is what I'm wearing appropriate? And this is another way that we help them look and feel their best so that they're more confident every day when they go out into the world.
I worry once in a while about is this clean or not, but that's life as a single guy, I suppose. Let's talk a little bit more about the human stylist. I understand you once in a while actually dip in and do that kind of undercover boss thing and style people yourself. What have you learned from actually rolling up your sleeves and trying to help people navigate like Stitch Fix's offerings?
Yeah, so I style for clients nearly every day. And I grew up in a retail family business, and our retail family business, we were part of a community. The customers that were walking in the doors of our store, those were our neighbors, those are the people we went to school with, or church, or temple. And it was really important to build those individual relationships and know your clients intimately. And that's the same approach that I'm taking at Stitch Fix. And styling for them is one way that I can get as close as possible to our customer, to our client, to really understand what's working for them and what's not. And it's also a really important way, too, to get closer to the employee experience at all levels, to understand where our opportunities are to continue to innovate and continue to disrupt the industry so that we can provide even better client experiences into the future.
Mm-hmm. You talked about Style File as a way to kind of expose some of Stitch Fix's data analytical capabilities directly to your customers. Are there particular tools you've rolled out recently that are working well to help stylists get more efficient or keep up with trends better, or just kind of be more accurate in how they fill fixes?
Yeah, so as part of our roadmap, we've released a ton of enhancements in terms of the tools that our stylists have to better serve clients. We're bringing newness, trend forecasting, merchandising moments to life for our stylists so that they can understand, what's going on in the industry, what's going on for individual clients. So when we see a trend like Western wear taking off, we can bring that information right to the surface for our stylists in the back-end platform, and that can help inform the items that they're selecting and the notes that they're writing so that clients understand why we're sending the items, how they might style them with items they've previously purchased, or how they might put together outfits with all of the items within their fix.
Yeah, it feels like trends change so fast these days. It can be hard to figure out, is something just kind of a flash in the pan, having a social media moment, or is it something that is going to influence people, next season? Like, is AI helping navigate like what should we really be paying attention to versus what's kind of like here today, gone tomorrow?
One of the tools that we have that's based on our AI is how we're determining what we buy and in what quantities. And that's looking at both the historical data as well as interpreting future trend data. And that has been really helpful for us to ensure that going forward, we have the right levels of newness, our product is on style, it's in style, it's on trend, and we have the right assortment to serve our clients based on what's happening in the market.
Yeah, that's great. I want to shift gears and talk a little bit about a theme that is very central to Shoptalk this year, and that's putting the customer at the heart of everything that you do. And I know that that's been a Stitch Fix mantra from day one, but I'm wondering, are there specific things you're hearing from Stitch Fix customers today as the business is evolving, as you're rolling out things like Style File, in terms of what they want and need from Stitch Fix and what they're getting, what's makes them happy that they're Fix customers?
Our vision is to be the most client-centric and personalized retail experience that there is. And when I'm styling, I hear that, I see that every single day from my clients. So I recently styled a fix for Brittany. She lives in Alabama. She has 3 kids, a 4th kid on the way. She's going on vacation, and she's writing to me, she has absolutely no time to shop. Here's where she's going. And that's the information that I need to create a personalized experience. So when we're thinking about the tools and the systems that we have, it's not just how AI is creating these opportunities, but it's also that human element, that connection that clients and stylists have that create these deep, personal, and enduring relationships. And that's what's really powerful for me. Another important example is what we call internally fashion deserts. It's becoming harder and harder for clients to find access to assortment. As malls are closing, as department stores are closing, it's harder for clients to get levels of service or access to assortment, and we fill that gap. Another client I style for, Roxanne from Letcher, South Dakota, it's population 169.
Whoa.
There's nowhere else that she could get access to the brands that we sell. There's nowhere else that she could get access to a personal stylist to help her with fit, to help her with style, to help her with trend. And that is such a critical component of the service that we provide that really no one else can.
Yeah, I love that you know these people as human beings. I feel like that's so unusual for a brick and mortar business, much less an e-commerce business. It kind of harkens back to the golden age of retail, whenever that actually was, when you do kind of think of like the person at the store kind of knowing you and knowing your taste. And maybe that still happens at the luxury level. It's so hard for like, a more middle class customer to find that.
I would challenge that we should all aspire to replicate that golden age of retail. That's when retail is at its best, when you're serving clients at an individual level, when you know who they are, you know what's going on in their life, you know what occasions are coming up in their life, you know if they're going through a body transformation, you understand, if they're moving locations and need apparel that's, for a different geography, or if they have a vacation coming up. And it's that level of service that we provide, and I'd really challenge that that's the level of service that every client wants and ultimately expects.
Yeah. Stitch Fix has a history of launching own brands, like your private brands, to kind of complement the national brands that you work with. What's your sense of how that is shaping up right now? Are you launching new things? Are you kind of happy with the portfolio the way it stands?
So as part of our transformation, one of the first things that we did is really rationalize our assortment. Within our private brand portfolio, we made sure that every private brand that we had served a very specific need for our clients. And if it didn't, then we edited it out. We've also launched 2 new private brands as part of that process, one of which is the Commons for men. It's a men's contemporary brand. I'm actually wearing a Commons bomber jacket right now. It'll be available for sale in a few months. And we really spent the time to understand the market, understand our clients, and that has really led to the success of the brand. It's now
the Commons has been knocking it out of the park.
It has.
Right?
It's a top 5 brand in men's for us after just launching a few months ago.
That's great. Another thing that I think defines customer needs and wants these days is flexibility. We all kind of don't really know what our lives may hold from one moment to the next, 1 week to the next. And I know that that's something we talked about. We talked about freestyle a little bit. Are there other ways that you're thinking about Stitch Fix in terms of that need for a little more flexibility? And what are you learning from that?
Our most loyal clients were really passionate. They were looking to us to serve more and more of their needs, to be able to outfit them for different occasions in their life. And they challenged us to go back and create more flexibility in our business model. And we've done that. Now a Fix, which used to only be 5 items, can be 6, 7, or 8. And that helps assort people, whether they're going on vacation or have a wedding weekend in Maine. We can provide them everything that they need. I was styling for my client Alan from Alabama recently. He's going on a cruise, and I was able to send him everything that he would need for that entire cruise. And that flexibility, was critical for me to be able to do that and fulfill that need for him.
Yeah. You've been CEO for 2-ish years now. Is that right? Yeah. So talk to me about like what was on your to-do list when you stepped into the role at Stitch Fix, and kind of what have you checked off, and what's still in progress?
The first thing I did was to really understand our client needs and to get as close to our client as I possibly could. And I feel like that'll be a perpetual journey. It's really important to always stay close to your client. But through that process, I understood where our opportunities were. Also, as I dug into the business, I understood where our opportunities were from an operational perspective. So the first stage of the transformation that we went on was to really rationalize the business, make sure that we got back to basics, had retail best practices embedded within every function. And the reason we did this is we wanted to make sure that when we rebuilt and then ultimately returned to growth, it was on a strong foundation. And we've checked the box on that first stage of the transformation. We have a really healthy financial business, a really strong foundation to build off of. In the second phase of the transformation, in terms of the rebuild, we launched a reimagination of the client experience last fall. With that, we also launched a rebrand from the entire brand, top to bottom.
Right, right. I love the new logo.
Thank you.
Very cool.
And then we also really started to see the first kind of fruits of our effort to revamp our assortment and to get to what is our current fiscal year goal of tripling the amount of newness in our assortment. And the results from the moment we launched that reimagination and the rebrand and the improvements in our assortment have been really phenomenal. Every single client cohort that we've acquired since that launch has outperformed the same client cohorts over the past several years. And it's what's helped enable us recently to return to growth in our men's business, return to growth in our freestyle channel, really improved our trend in our women's business and our fixed business, and help us towards the third stage of our transformation, that return to growth.
That's great. You alluded to retail best practices, and I feel like this may be a little bit of a no-duck question because the Shop Talk audience hopefully knows what retail best practices constitute. But like, talk to me specifically about what those were for Stitch Fix, and how the business maybe before you stepped into the role had lost its compass a little bit, perhaps.
So what retail best practices means to me, and what it meant for us, and continues to mean to us at Stitch Fix, is to ensure that everything we're doing is in service of the client, and everything that we're doing is optimized from an efficiency standpoint and a profitability standpoint to enable us to really serve the client as best as we can ultimately. If you take assortment, for example, that's like the rationalization of the assortment that we went through to make sure we had the right items, we had the right brands. Then do we have the right items in the right quantity? Then you have the right items in the right quantity at the right price. And we replicated this same process through our fulfillment network, through our customer service network, through our styling network. And what that did is it really helped ensure that everything that we are doing, all of our resources are geared towards both returning to growth and returning to growth with the best possible client experience.
Yeah, that's excellent. So we talked about customer centricity in the sense of flexibility, in terms of helping articulate what somebody loves, in terms of, I guess one more thing I'd want to ask you about is just kind of around price, because this is a moment where a lot of shoppers are being very budget conscious, where and I know Stitch Fix has always kind of served a range of price points, a range of customers from an economic point of view, let's say. How are you seeing that shaping up? And do you see like bigger opportunities around helping somebody who's on a tight budget, or those people for whom the sky's the limit?
Because we serve each client individually, and because each client has a direct relationship with the stylist, as a client's budget might shift over time, they're able to communicate that back to their stylist. That enables us to serve them, no matter where their budget is at any given moment. And it's also because of that, really deep personal relationship that they have, that we become their retailer of choice. Mm-hmm. So even if their overall discretionary spend budget declines, they still come to Stitch Fix for their needs. And it's because we're able to serve them individually, and it's because of that deep relationship that we have with them. And as you noted, we do have the ability to serve across a wide range of price points that gives us that ability to be agile depending on where each client is at any given moment.
Yeah, that's great. Well, I mean, it definitely sounds like you're staying true to that kind of North Star that Stitch Fix was founded based on, that combination of like ease and inspiration, human and technology, helping people just be more comfortable with their shopping journeys. I'm curious, as you've kind of been on this like not reinvention, but the journey of like kind of rejuvenating the brand.
Yes.
Where are you finding, like, from a marketing perspective, what's working for you? What channels and what messages are really kind of, I don't know, helping get new people into Stitch Fix, and maybe some people who used to be Stitch Fix customers to kind of come back and rejoin?
So I mentioned that we had the rebrand moment. As part of the rebrand, we also overhauled our message in terms of how we go to market. And we launched a brand platform called Retail Therapy. And the Retail Therapy brand platform, it helps clients really anchor in all of the pain points that exist in their current shopping opportunities today, and why Stitch Fix is a solution for them. We've seen tremendous success with that platform, and then that Retail Therapy platform enables us across all different channels of marketing, all different ways of communicating with clients, both through paid channels as well as our own channels, to communicate to that client individually based on what their needs are. And we're seeing a lot of success from that.
Yeah, I love the name. It feels like it would have natural appeal. Are there particular, like, I don't know, channels, media, like is social big for you? Does Does Stitch Fix have a presence on TikTok? Like, kind of what's working from that perspective?
Our media strategy is to really be where our client is, and that's a full funnel approach. So we're everything from linear TV to OTT, across social, Google, Meta, and what we've really honed in on is being as targeted and segmented as we can, because we're able to service so many different consumer needs. And if we speak very directly to a particular client segment, then we're able to really nail that message. We're really able to bring clients in that will understand not just what our service is, but how that service will benefit them individually.
Yeah, that's great. Do you ever do like testimonials? I mean, it's been so compelling to hear you talk about specific people that you've personally helped. And I feel like that, from my perspective, would be really persuasive to me.
So we recently had some of our clients into the office, and we created content around their Stitch Fix experience, and we brought that to life through our media, through our marketing, and we'll continue to utilize that going forward. It's a really great test to have those testimonials. It gives really great validation to our service. It really helps make it a relatable service for individuals, and they help to really understand like why Stitch Fix is right for them.
Yeah, I feel like some of your stylists are probably pretty good advocates for the brand as well. I mean, I think there may well be skeptical people out there who think, oh, it's all AI making all the decisions, and kind of the persuasiveness of like, no, I'm a human being, and I help other human beings. It's gotta help as well.
Yeah, so our stylists are front and center in a lot of our media. Our stylists are front and center of a lot of our marketing. And what's also really important is that our stylists come to life through the experience. So we've been investing in that as part of the reimagination as well. We've created stylist profiles so that people can get to know their stylist even better, so that the relationship building isn't just a one-way street of a stylist learning about a client, but also clients learning about the stylist that's helping them. How many fixes have they styled? What specialties do they have? And we've seen great response from clients. We have a score that we call Want You Back, which is how many times a client requests the same stylist for their next fix. And we just, most recently in the last quarter, it was the highest the score has been in the last 5 years.
Wow, that's really good result. Congrats on that. So as we start to wrap up, Shoptalk is always about the future. So I like to ask a future-oriented question. As you think about Stitch Fix in the coming 6 to 12 months, what's got you most excited about the things that the brand is going to be working on and delivering to its customers?
We're going to continue to be focused on the client, and we're going to be client-led in everything that we do. We're very confident in a very ambitious and innovative roadmap that we have across all the different pillars of our transformation. And critically, we think our opportunity is extremely large. If you look across the population, the number of people that find pain points in their shopping experiences today, we see that nearly 90% of people have anxiety getting dressed. The service that we provide really resonates with nearly the entire population. So as we continue to drive this innovation, we continue to expand our assortment, we're really focused on expanding the addressable market that we serve, so that once we get back to growth, we're able to get back to some really big growth in the future.
Makes tons of sense. I've saved my hardest question for last, Matt.
Okay.
So get ready.
All right.
If you had one piece of style advice for the entire Shoptalk TV audience, like, could you distill all your wisdom down to one thing?
To distill the wisdom to one thing, style is personal. And everyone has their own style file. Everyone has their own style profile. And it's that ability to understand everyone's unique and individual style and then service them individually that's going to make the difference.
Amazing advice. Well, thank you so much for being here with us, Matt. Thank you for joining us out there in the audience.
It's great. Thank you very much.
Thanks.